Bye poopy emoji.
Can I take this thing off now?
No. You're gonna wear it all day.
I'm gonna check in like that.
Yeah.
Before you say a word, and before we even get started with this video, I lost a bet. Dean is making me wear Mr. What do you call him?
Poop emoji.
Poop emoji. This is what really happens on travel days.
Hey, you gotta entertain yourself somehow.
But we wanted to do another one of our travel day videos, and this isn't going to be a fun one. I really don't even know what to call this, but it's maybe some of the downsides of RV living.
I was going to say some of the not so great parts of RV living.
Yeah, so none of these are going to be fun answers. They're all...
Well, we think they're going to be good answers.
Yeah, and the truth, right? Things that people want to know. So that's kind of what the theme of this video is, and Mr. Poop Emoji will be hanging here for the whole time. So it might be hard to take me serious.
Okay, so we're going to start right off with number one question. What is the worst thing an RV park has ever done to you? I know one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so actually, we were in Savannah, Georgia, and we actually went on their website, looked up their map, and picked out a campsite that we wanted that was kind of in the back. It was a back end, I believe. Yeah. It was away from everyone, because in the front of the park is a playground, the swimming pool, the bar and grill, outdoor bar and grill, game area, lazy river. Knowing Danny has to work, a playground. I think I said that, but knowing Danny has to work, we knew we didn't want to be in the front of the RV park with him having to concentrate for work and everything. It's just easier for us to be quiet. So we get to the RV park, and they had moved us without even...
next to the playground.
The very first spot. Next to the playground, well, the pool and the bar grill area was right there too. It was a little bit of a distraction, but we were able to work it out.
They thought they were doing us a favor
by putting us in a pull-through.
A nice pull-through. So they upgraded the site, but it's really not. It wasn't good for us.
It was not convenient for us.
I think
so that was a bummer. Sorry, honey. The thing is they didn't even call to tell us that they were moving us.
Yeah.
You know, because if they had called us, then we would have been able to explain to them, well, we didn't really want to be in the front where all the action is. So, kind of a bummer, but it worked out.
Yeah, it did. The thing that comes to my mind is when we were in New Orleans, I believe, a state park.
Oh, yeah.
They put us in a site that was just way too small for us. It was probably the worst time that we had trying to back into a site, just because of the way the site was located, the very narrow roads, the soft grounds all around the site. Yeah. If you know, they even warned us, if you go off the road, you're gonna get stuck, kind of a thing. So that was probably
and the way the road was compared to how we had to get back into the campsite, it took us what, 25 minutes?
Yeah, it was good.
That was the worst. That was our worst experience yet. So question number 2 is, what is the worst experience you've ever had with an RV neighbor?
I know one.
Okay.
We had a guy run his generator all night long.
Yeah.
I think we were in New Mexico. He was in a motorhome right next to us.
Santa Fe.
And he ran his generator all night.
And we did not.
Long.
We did not sleep. I ended up with a migraine.
Yeah, it was tough to sleep. It was loud. It was
loud.
Really loud generator.
It was unusually loud though.
And I don't understand why though, because we had full hookups, so I don't get it.
Well, number one, they had signs, no generators.
That's right, yeah.
After such time. So, but he ran it literally all night long. I did call the office just to let them know. And I mean, I was very nice about it, and they were very nice about it. They actually contacted the guy and told him he could not run his generator.
After we left.
After we left, of course. But still, it could have saved somebody else,
So there
not getting any sleep or a migraine even.
There was one other thing. This is about neighbors, right?
Yes.
So there was, do you remember the guy who complained about our lights?
Yes.
We had a guy, do you want to explain that one? Or?
You can go ahead. Where was that? I don't even remember.
That was, I think.
Oh, California.
I think in California.
Yeah.
Our RV has those little colored lights on it, like underneath.
And I always dim them.
We had them on, and this was like 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night.
It wasn't even 8 o'clock.
We always turn them off at nighttime when we go to bed. But this was like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. We're watching TV. All of a sudden, somebody is rapping on our front door, like really, really loud, like to the point, like I'm thinking something's wrong. Something's going on. We got to get out, like a fire or something like that. Then, I go to the door and open it up, and it's one of our neighbors, not very polite, saying, can you guys turn off your lights? It's right in my
it's blinding
me. I can't sleep. Yeah, sure. We were polite about it and turned them off, but all he had to do was close his blind or to be a little bit more polite about it, I think.
Yeah, he was not very nice about it. And the fact that it wasn't even 8 o'clock is just like, really? Okay.
Yeah. But that was really, of course, you always get the people cutting through your
campsite.
People not picking up their dog poop. That's almost a given.
Dog poop.
Oh yeah, dog poop. Hey, I got bags here too if they need some.
Okay, question number 3 is, what is your worst experience with the weather? We have been through some wind. Like insanely
Kansas.
Crazy wind.
Driving through Kansas, some of the winds were just on.
And Colorado was
Sorry, not even just driving, just being there.
Yeah.
We were just being set. We thought we were getting blown off a cliff one day in Colorado.
Yeah. Where we were camping.
They were actually so bad, we brought in, I think, the slides, if I remember, because we were afraid that the top slide toppers were going to rip off.
We did.
I mean, it was that bad.
That's right.
But I think, other than the wind, probably the biggest thing, because everybody's got to drive through rain once in a while. We've been fortunate, not too bad.
Right.
But probably the worst would be either tearing down or setting up in the rain.
Because we have been caught in some pretty good, not torrential downpours, but downpours.
Yeah.
There's been a couple. But we've been pretty lucky.
We have,
honestly,
overall,
we really have.
But there has been a couple times either setting up or tearing down in the rain. That really stinks.
Yeah,
and honestly,
especially if it's cold outside.
I guess there's one's no worse or better than the other. When you're tearing down, it means you're driving to go somewhere, so it means you're going to be all wet. Even if you wear a raincoat, I don't care, you're still going to get wet.
Right.
But if you're arriving somewhere and trying to set up in the rain, it means you're tracking all that mud and wet into your RV.
That's not good.
Either way, setting up and tearing down would be my answer for that.
Right. Question number 4 is, what is the most difficult experience you've had with trip planning?
I got one because it just happened to us yesterday. But actually, there's a couple. So last year, what we did was we planned out our whole year in advance, stop for stop, and we booked a lot of those sites way ahead of time, maybe 9 months out. We had everything dialed in our first year on the road. This year, we decided let's back off of that a little bit. Let's maybe only book, 3, 4, 5 stops out, and then we'll go from there and, just kind of maybe book 4 or 5 stops at a time. What we found out this year, though, is that's not leaving us enough time.
Right.
4 or 5 stops out for us is about 2 to 2.5 months out. We already found places that were booked already.
Going up the East Coast this time.
Going up the East Coast. A couple of our stops happened to be, our travel days happened to be on holiday week. I think Father's Day and stuff like that. So those booked really fast.
Yeah.
So that is one thing. So we already found out we got to book at least 6 months out, I think. And especially, if you're doing a Yellowstone or Tetons, Rocky Mountain National, any one of those the big boys, you're probably going to have to be a year out. So, but that does bring me to another part that this is what really kind of burns me more than anything. We actually just booked a site for September in Estes Park, which is right next to Rocky Mountain National Park. They require, and it's very expensive there. You're looking at close to $80, $90, $100 a night, depending what you're doing. But they require a 50% deposit down. I get it, but the big thing is there's no refunds, and that really, really kind of burns me. So if you're there for 2 weeks, you're talking $600-$700 deposit, and there's zero refunds. You can't. There's no changes. There's nothing. You're stuck. And there's only about 3 different campgrounds in that area that our RV will fit in. 2 of them are sister campgrounds, which have the same policy. The other one, they were already booked, so to be honest with you, I don't know what their policy is. But that really kind of burns me. I get the deposit. They don't want to lose money. But to me, if you have to there's, emergencies do come up.
Definitely.
If you have an emergency and you're far enough out, you're more than a month or 2 away from being there, I just don't get that part. And that does kind of burn me. But you're at their mercy, because if you don't book soon enough, we actually got the last spot at one place, and this is 7 months ahead of time. So that's probably my biggest gripe with RV parks.
There was something that I was going to add to that, and now I don't remember what it was.
All right, well, we can come back to it.
Okay, number 5. What would you say has been your most difficult or stressful event traveling with Rodeo? Definitely this past trip home to Florida. Took Rodeo to the vet for her annual and got her all done caught up on her vaccines and everything, and we found out through her blood work that she has a thyroid problem. So she is hypothyroid. And really, buddy? So she has to have her blood work checked. She's on medication, and the medication requires her blood to be checked every so often to make sure she's at the right levels. So her doctor put her on medication, and then we were leaving right away. So when we got to Georgia, I had to find a vet that would be willing to take her to do the blood work.
Follow-up, right?
For a follow-up of blood work to check her levels and readjust her medication. Not every vet wants to do this with a thyroid issue for a dog, because they don't have a relationship. They want the initial vet to handle prescribing of medication and adjusting the levels. Thankfully, this vet in Georgia did, and we did get a refill for 2 months, luckily. Thank you, Dr. Stewart. And she is good to have her medication and her thyroid her blood checked for thyroid issue in another 2 months.
Yeah, probably the biggest
the stressful part is scheduling
and finding
between vets. I was going in between our vet in Florida and the vet in Georgia, and trying to get them on the same page, and it ended up being the vet in Georgia ended up
it's definitely not
re-prescribing her medication according to her levels.
Yeah, it's definitely not as easy. If you were staying in one place, you have your vet you always go back to. Same with us with doctor appointments, you're always in a new place. So it is a little bit more stressful.
It is stressful, and it is something to think about, because the fact is not all vets want to take that on. Like I said, not being the initial vet who prescribed the initial medication. Nobody wants to step on anybody's toes, or they just don't want to do it, period.
The other thing I would add to that, traveling with a pet or a dog, this isn't as big of a deal. I mean, it's something we chose, but when we go out, there's places rodeo can't go. You know, there's some national parks or maybe downtown or something like that sometime. So we always have to be aware of how long we left her in the RV.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to cut our sightseeing down a little bit to make sure we have time to get back for road. We don't want to leave her in there too long.
No.
Again, that's not a huge thing. We chose this lifestyle. We got to be fair to rodeo. But it is something just to be aware of.
Yeah. It's never really been that big of an issue. I think there's been one time where we left her a little bit longer than we should have, but she was fine. The other thing I was going to say is there are times where we can take her with us. However, we get to a certain place and then we find out that she's not allowed in. So a lot of times I'll just sit in the truck or in the overview area and let Danny go on. So that's kind of a disappointment. Or if we both would like to enjoy a particular visitor center or something together, we can't because rodeo can't go in. Not a big deal. Like we said, you know, we would rather have her than not. So it kind of evens out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, these roads in South Carolina are the best.
Okay, number 6. How difficult is it to eat right and get exercise while on the road?
Well, if you've been watching our videos, you know we've gained some weight.
We've put a couple pounds on. My issue is, I know everybody's probably tired of hearing it, my niece, and since I had my left knee surgery last April, can't believe it's almost been a year already, I'm still having issues with it, and now it's really making my right knee more bummed out than it was. So I have issues with that. Arthritis, osteoarthritis, and some other things going on, but I am not able to exercise like I want to or should because I am in constant pain all the time.
Yeah, the thing with me is I like to jog. That's kind of the only exercise I get. I work all week. I'm sitting behind a desk. So far, though, on the road, I've been able to jog everywhere we've been. I think there's one place we were at I couldn't jog. It just wasn't safe. It was right off the main road. It just wasn't safe. So for me, I can still do the exercises I want. As far as eating goes, it's definitely, I think, harder to eat right on the road. Something that we like to do when we go to a new town, we we like to check it out. We like the little small mom and pop little restaurants, some of the little microbreweries, all the local stuff. We like to try all the local food and stuff. So we find ourselves on the weekends eating big lunches or maybe a big dinner, where if we were back home in a sticks and bricks, I wouldn't eat a big lunch on the weekend. I might snack. So we do definitely eat more, probably not as good. So it's definitely something to be aware of.
I think we could eat better than we do. To check out the little places that the locals go to that we like to try and find and go to ourselves. We could go there and just have an appetizer, or like we did the last couple times, we shared a lunch. That works well. We do. We have been just in the last couple of weeks trying to pay better attention to what we're eating, how we're eating, and making more of an effort to try and get out and walk rodeo a little bit more.
Yeah, and somehow I gained 2 pounds.
Yeah, and I've gained 1. So
we're not doing something right.
Something's not right, but we're hoping we're going to get there. We are going to get there, and we're going to get back to hiking soon.
What's our next?
Okay, number 7 is, do you feel you are limited due to technology while traveling full time?
Yeah, to some extent.
Yes.
Now it hasn't affected us to the point where we can't do what we don't want to do. There might be some limitations. What I mean by that is when we first started traveling, we still have hot spots. That's kind of our go-to, right? But they have data plans associated with them. And again, my work comes first, no matter over YouTube and anything else. I have, my work comes first. So my data I need for work. Anything left over, we can stream Netflix and things like that. So yes, we have a limit to maybe how much we can stream each month.
Right.
Again, based off of my work.
But that was even more so before we got Starlink.
Yeah, so now we just recently purchased Starlink a few months ago.
Yeah.
And Starlink has, right now, I believe it's 1 terabyte of data a month. We'll never use that, never. So as long as I can use Starlink, we can basically stream Netflix and Prime or whatever we want every night, and we're not gonna have a problem. The only thing I think is probably different between traveling and a sticks and bricks is because we do have to stream, we'll get some buffering once in a while.
Right.
You know, you don't get
Not
your favorite
bad,
local channels all the time. But we deal with it. It's, to me, that's nothing. It's just part of what we do.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is, in your opinion, what is the worst part about buying an RV?
I think dishonesty, and it is very, very hard to understand what an RV is really worth. And what I mean by that is when you go and purchase a car, right, you can go look at the Blue Book, you can look at the Black Book, you can go to Edmunds.com, some of these other sites. It's very easy to find, you know, you a year and make and model of a car, a certain mileage, condition. You can find pretty close to what that vehicle is worth, and then you can start your negotiations if you're buying or selling. You got a target at that point. RVs aren't that easy. There's no really one place to go, and you know, what is a 2021 Grand Design 397, you know, what is it worth? It's very hard to tell that. So that is one thing. The other thing is, don't think just because you're going to an RV show you're going to get a great deal. And
this is true.
And I'll explain what happened to us. If you've been watching us at all, you know I do a ton of research. Whenever we do anything big, we research RVing for, you know, a couple years before we got on the road. I started when we knew that we wanted the Grand Design 397. I started some emails back and forth with a dealership close to us in Florida, and just trying to get some general idea on pricing and stuff like that. And I got a price for a 397, a certain price. Within a month, we went to the RV show over in Tampa. That same dealership was there. Yep. And they had, of course, the RV show prices, the great big sales and stuff. Right. And we already knew which one we wanted. So we started negotiating, and their very first price that they came back with, this is their RV sale price, was more than the dealer was going to give me or ask for me to pay via email. And that was no hassle or anything. Yeah. That was just, oh, here, I can give you this. Yeah. So that alone tells me these RV shows, they're great. I mean, you might get some deals,
to see,
but you have to go in with knowledge. Yeah. You have to do your research first. Research. Don't just because it says sale price, don't believe it. Yeah. Right? They're there to make money. They don't care about you. They want to make as much money as possible. Right. So I guess the only thing I could say on that is do some research. Maybe even do what I did. Email a few places and, you know, kind of play dumb or pretend like you're going to buy an RV from them and just say, hey, give me a price. And whatever price they give you, you know you can do better than that, right? They're not going to give you their best price right out the door. Yeah. So, but it gives you a starting place. Don't be afraid to negotiate. Yeah, we even when we were negotiating prices and everything, we negotiated the washer and dryer, installation, some of the other installations, and the camera, right? Or they threw in the camera. Yeah, I think they do that for everybody. Yeah, but probably. But oh, that was a dead dog. Oh, jeez. So yeah, that would be the biggest thing with the RVs, just not knowing what they're really worth and how to negotiate pricing. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's see. The last question is number 10. If you had to name one thing you do not like about RV living, what would it be? I know what yours is.
Yeah. Mine's being so far away from family. Of course, family and friends. These roads, you guys. South Carolina, man.
Yeah, do something with your roads. Mr. Emoji here might fall off my neck.
Your roads are pretty crappy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Missing family and friends is a big one. It's always going to be the worst part of full-time RV living, no matter what. No matter where we are, it's going to be missing family and friends for me.
I don't really, I mean, of course, I can always say cleaning out the sewer hoses. You know, nobody likes doing that, but honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I guess the thing I did mention earlier,
I know
some of the deposits, when you have to put down these large deposits to stay somewhere and they're non-refundable.
Yeah.
That's a tough one for me.
Yeah.
It's
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, and I don't like that part.
And especially if it's non-refundable. Like none of it.
Yeah, definitely.
So
anyways, hey, if you do find stuff like this entertaining or helpful, please subscribe to our channel, and also please make sure you hit the like button. It helps YouTube to, you know, understand people are watching us and get our videos out to more and more people. So yeah, we'd appreciate that
very much. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this week's video. We hope you have a great week.
Remember, always live life to the fullest.
Safe travels, and God bless.
Say goodbye.
Bye, poop emoji.
Can I take this thing off now?
No. You're going to wear it all day.
I'm going to check in like this.
Yes.